January Donovan Show, where we are having a series of Q&A from my daughter, Pia Donovan, and just getting her insight on what is it really like to learn how to be a woman and what are the skills that we need to grow into becoming a whole version of ourselves. So today the question is, how important is it to surround ourselves with the right friendships? Pia, welcome. Talk to me about the importance of friendship in your life.
So, friendship is a really big part of growing up, especially at the age that I'm becoming, because I'm becoming a woman slowly in my teenage years, and who I surround myself really determines who I become in the future, especially if I'm consuming like a lot of my time into these certain individuals that are my friends. We are going to all take habits from each other because you're constantly around them, and that's like scientifically proven. So it is extremely important to be mindful of the people you spend lots of time with.
Yeah. So what does mom and dad always say? You're the average?
Are the 5% or the 5 people you hang out with.
Yes. And so what do you do to choose the right friends? What are some of the key markers that you're looking for?
Well, I wouldn't say that I take those friends out of my life. It's more of I choose to surround myself with the people that build me up closer to God and help me to grow and become the better version of myself, and not just like we're having fun, which is a great friendship. I think you need those friendships where you can just do fun things, but I think you need that friendship that can help you to grow to become a better person, lead you to our Lord, but also like they're always there for you and you can also have a great time and laugh. And I
Yeah.
think those friendships are really important.
Yeah, but also those are friends, there's not a lot of them. And I don't think it's
Yeah.
designed to be that way. We always talk about that in the women's school, that mutual friendship where you're helping each other become who God created you to be, fulfill your purpose. I think those are not a lot of friends, because there's not a lot of time to go that deep with one person or 10 people. I mean, so what are the things that are a no-no to you when it comes to friendship? You're like, stay away with don't want to engage in that type of friends.
Maybe it's just the people that I see surround them with people that I don't want to become. Or I see their life and this is like, that looks fun, but that's not something that I want to be a part of. And that's not something I could see myself doing.
Give me
And
an example,
especially
maybe. Sorry, sweetie.
maybe just like a friend who likes to do like going to parties and like maybe just dressing in a way that doesn't glorify like God, and that will definitely impact me like unknowingly. Like over time it's obvious I wouldn't originally be like, oh, this is a problem, like obviously I don't want to dress like this, but after a while you start to like accept these certain things and you're like, oh, I guess it's okay because they're doing it, and then all of a sudden you find yourself like maybe dressing this way or going to a party or doing something you wouldn't think you were doing just because you were surrounding yourself with that person for like a long period of
It
time.
boils you, the whole frog analogy. You want to have friends that raise your standards, not lower your standards. Talk to me about negative friends and how you preserve yourself, protect yourself from it. What's the impact of negative people?
So I think like negative people would they literally they turn you down, or they bring you down not in a very obvious way. And it's not something that you would like immediately notice, but they say certain things, or maybe they're talking very highly of themselves in front of you in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable about who you are or what you look like, and maybe like tearing you down in very little like unnoticeable ways, like, "Well, why are you doing that?" or why are you even wearing that, like that does not look good, or are you going to eat that, like it's very subtle, but it actually has a really strong impact on your self-image because they're slowly tearing that away by you thinking, is there something wrong with me because there is they found something that
Mhm.
they don't like about me, and then you start to think about those things, and I think that can really like be dangerous to get into a friendship with someone like that.
Yeah, and so how do you deal with that? Especially because it's so important in our own home. We talk about a strong self-image. It's other people's opinion cannot shape your opinion of yourself, which means you have to shape your own opinion. You have to know who Pia is. You have to know what Pia's desires are, Pia's purpose. Explain that to the girls of the importance of having a very strong self-image.
I think just being aware of those certain people, be like, okay, I can notice that this person might be doing certain things that don't help me grow closer to God or are tearing me down. And then after realizing that, maybe being like, okay, this is still my friend and I'm not going to not be there for her, but maybe I should surround myself with people that will help me, and just like slowly, not totally not hang out with that person. Just like maybe every couple weeks you hang out with them once, but when you are there, you know, okay, this person is doing these things, and being able to discover that like I'm aware that they're doing these things that I don't appreciate, so that you don't fall into the trap of like doing the things that they are.
Yeah. That's a great. So essentially, you have kind of an interior boundary
Yeah,
so that you know I'm here to love them and serve them, but I also need to protect myself and my self-image from it. I think it's you're very wise. Just, okay, last question for wrap it up. Gossip. How fierce and how fierce is mom about gossiping?
very, very fierce about gossiping. And it's something that every girl does, even like unknowingly. I'm sure there's girls that don't gossip, but even if it's just in your head, like, oh, why is she doing this? Even if it's someone who's doing something bad, but you're talking poorly on them, that is still gossip. And even if it's helping you be aware, you have to be mindful on who you talk to that about because it is also like a form of gossip. And I think it's just like a very dangerous thing to do because it can lead to so many other things, like talking poorly about someone. And if you're tearing someone down to another person, in no way will that help you become the best
Mhm.
version of
You're
yourself.
part of the problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's okay, so how does mom really police that? How do I model that for you?
Well, I've never heard you talk poorly about someone. So I guess just having that like role model of like, that's a strict boundary. Like, I will not speak poorly of someone else because that's not who I am and that's not my place. And just being able to realize you doing that will help me understand how important it is to not speak poorly of others.
Yeah. And sometimes I point things out, but
Yeah.
you know I'm pointing things out in charity and in love and in
Yeah.
reverence. And
It's
I've
not
done that.
to tear them down, but to help you build up
Learn
yourself.
from it.
And it's also if you're with that certain if I'm talking to you, then I'll share with you something that's really frustrating on my heart about someone else, but not in a way to degrade who they are, but to help me become a better version and being able to discover like certain things about them.
Yeah, even when we talk about it, there's still a maintained respect, even the way we talk about it, which is so important. You just don't go permission to just vomit all the negativity. It's like, okay, let's learn from this. And I'm sure they're doing the best that they can with what they know how. But I think I am so fierce about it because it's a slippery slope. And I hear mothers gossiping, and I have a boundary. When I hear a woman gossip, I have a very strong boundary that that's probably not somebody I want to be close to. Like it's just or negativity. It doesn't mean like you're saying it's not their friend, but it tells me their state and it tells me that I don't necessarily have the energy to talk about what's wrong
Yeah,
with a person and just preserving my call, my duty to speak well of people, which is sometimes challenging because you have to, you're surrounded by a
definitely. Yeah.
lot of negativity, but you have to really put your foot down and be firm. And I think that in our own home, that's very clear. Like, even when I say something, you will even hold me accountable. Like, if I just don't preface it properly, you're like, Mom, and it's really, we're not speaking ill, but just when we're looking at situations or how to study, even people, like when we're talking about celebrities, it's like, oh, Mom, we don't know where Taylor Swift's heart is, just those things that are always important. All right, last quick advice. Any advice that you want? I want to kind of end with Pia's advice.
Big thing would be don't surround yourself with negative people, not just people who gossip, but just people who are constantly looking at the bad because that will affect you. And if they are constantly reminding you of the bad, then you will constantly be looking for the bad, like unknowingly, just like having that programmed into you. And that's something that could really harm you and yourself because constantly looking at the bad in situations will just make everything in your life a lot harder. And so when you surround yourself with people who are always looking for the good, like you become so much more grateful for the life that you have and your life just becomes so much more joyful. So I think that's a really important thing to do.
Oh, I'm just so proud of you, sweetie. You're inspiring all these girls. So thank you all for being here. If you have any questions, send it to us, send it to Pia, and she'll share with you her insight, her journey, all the growth, all the mistakes, all the wisdom. And together we can help shape the next generation, teaching women how to be women. God bless you all.